This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast.
Did you guys see this? This is unbelievable. What is that all about, Kinger?
Get in here for the real thing. Like, let's get weird.
Maybe I blacked out trying to figure out what was going on.
Doubt, worry, fear, because that's what we're breaking the mold on here.
Welcome to Wild on 7th, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
All right, welcome back to Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented by our friends at Pilot Games. Make sure when you're out enjoying your 2025 libations, Kinger, which you just were in Nashville.
That was great.
Yeah, but Nashville, they might not support your local community, so save that.
It will.
Yeah, save those dollars for when you get back.
You know why?
You got to balance yourself out. Why?
Because when you win, your community wins.
Yeah, buddy.
Great taglines on all of our sponsors, by the way.
They do a good job.
Yeah, they got good work, all of them.
So thanks to our friends at Pilot Games. The week was shaping up for this to be kind of a somber podcast. That you lose to Edmonton. You think you're getting Kirill back. He's skating. Spurgeon was skating with the team. Then they go on the road, and you're like, oh, psych, bait and switch. They're actually not back. Let's go play Nashville. Okay, this is going to be all right because, LaRue, slew-footed Spurgeon. There's going to be some animosity. The 7th Street Savages are coming out.
WWE.
Like, let's just watch this, and that should be good. And it wasn't.
It was not. No, first 5 minutes were fun. I liked all the fighting. Trennan is a nail gun. Credit to the rookie for taking his medicine. I think he got hit in the head. Like, I looked on Hockey Fights this morning.
Just to get the score?
100%. Yeah, Guff Trennan, 38 votes to 0. That's when you win a fight. And by the way, he's beloved in Nashville. Lots of Trennan jerseys. They did a video tribute for him. I think it's a sign of what could come with this guy. He scored yesterday. He's faster now. I don't know. I'm a fan. And it seemed like Nashville, that hurt when he left there. They like him. And he won the fight. First time that Luke Schen's a tough guy.
Well, he and Marcus seem to fight every time they play.
I just heard this, that they fought all the time, but he's strong, man. You could tell neither one of them wanted to let go of their grip because it just takes one. It's like pull tabs. It just takes one, and you are disconnected. He did do I would like your take on this. So when you're in a fight that's a draw, there's little things you can do to seem like you won, and it's primarily if you can get them on the ground.
The takedown.
The little roll takedown, even though they were just kind of holding each other's jersey, it still seemed like Marcus won the fight because he gave him the little roll at the end, which was nice. But yeah, Nashville looked good that night. I gave them a real hard time earlier in the season. They kind of looked like a football team on skates, slow. It was a little frightening. I was like, oh, they do have all of the All-Stars, and they look good.
They looked better. They certainly did.
Better. That was a tough one. Seeing Fleury snap his stick on the way off the bench was
on the way off the ice. You mean?
Yeah, on the way off the ice. Yeah, just hammered it, broke it. Which we think of Marc-Andre Fleury as like Charlie Chaplin. He's kind of this artist that is happy like a squirt bee on the ice, and to see him that pissed, you knew that it wasn't good. But as bad as Saturday was, I just enjoyed the hell out of yesterday. Beating Colorado on the road, responding, having them be the one without many shots through 2 periods, and getting that win without 97. That was a really nice 2 points yesterday. So as bad as Saturday was, I'm kind of like fine with the weekend after getting Colorado yesterday.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Okay, so let's go back to Nashville because I think there's more in there.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah, the fights with Trennan, like you almost have to be careful if you win a fight that convincingly.
His hand was hurt did you see him in the box?
Yeah.
He was just like, I hit his head 10 times, and yeah, that can't feel good.
But now you might have to do it more. Like that's a problem. Like if you're good at it, you might have to do it a little more. Like it's like, wow, where has that been? And I think that was always a part of. It's probably part of why they liked him in Nashville. I think it's part of why the Wild targeted him. It's an element. He's fought in the past. And we've earlier this year in the podcast we've talked on, and this is where I find it really interesting too. We've touched on how they've kind of moved past the 7th Street Savages, how Hines doesn't get after the refs, the team doesn't get hot and bothered. You know, the mercury level doesn't rise to the point where they become unhinged and try to beat you up versus beat you on the score sheet, right?
Disciplined.
Yeah, disciplined. Well, the Nashville game looked like they wanted to beat you up more than they wanted to beat you, right?
Yep.
And it cost them, I think. They got their revenge, but Nashville got the ultimate revenge, which was beating them in a game that Minnesota needed to. I think Minnesota needed to win, because you're looking at the schedule and you say, now we got to go into Colorado without these guys, and it's going to be tough. Like, we just saw what happened with Edmonton. Like, you can contain the big guys for a little bit, but give them 60 minutes, it's tough, right? And but the Wild ended up finding a way in the Colorado game to get it done. So I think they learned a good lesson. It felt like a critical point in the season and within like the psyche of the club to be able to win the game against Colorado, because if you lose to Edmonton, you lose to Nashville, you lose to Colorado, you come home, and all of a sudden you're beat up a little bit mentally, and you're like, oh my gosh, like the pressure's mounting. We've dropped a handful in a row. We were in such a great spot, and we take a week off. And they didn't take a week off. They're trying, but you don't win for a week, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 you tumble down the standings, and you're in the wild card spot in the playoff race. Like it's crazy how tight it is, and then mentally how sharp you have to be every day.
I've been looking. I have all the bad fan tendencies coming out, so we lost that game, and I would have drove to Minnesota, picked up Kirill, and drove to Colorado if I could have. That's how nervous I was, because everybody says, we started so hot. You hear all these fans, you just got to go 500 the rest of the year. By the way, that's not easy. If you lose to Nashville, you have to get 2 points from Colorado. Or if you lose 3 in a row, you have to win 3 in a row.
Right.
It's not as I was counting points like, we're 8 points out of the, we're out of the playoffs with 8 points. And I was really freaked out about how it was going to go. And but I think, this team has shown responsiveness. I think that's what Hines really preached in camp, was kind of this, it's going to get hard. And, are you ready for that? And he's been trying to get him ready for that. And I really thought yesterday they responded in that way. But it was it was tough on Saturday. Just the whole deal. I didn't like any of it.
I'd be curious the message Hines sent to the club after the Nashville game or leading up to the Colorado game. And he preaches a team style. Like they have to play a very disciplined team game in the structure, in the systems, individually, like a commitment to offense in a certain way. The power play has to be that. And I think that there was commitment to the team in the Nashville game. It just wasn't channeled appropriately. And then all of a sudden it looked like, boom, okay, we get the message that's being sent against Colorado, and they just tightened everything up defensively. They figured out the ways to win, how they're going to create offense, how to be patient again. They ended up winning. If
the Wild are going to do what we all want them to do, have success in the postseason, it looks like yesterday's Colorado game. That is the template. When the other team is not getting a lot of shots against us, that's our game. Good back end, good goaltending this year. I do want to give a shout out to, I just love, this is the stuff I love about hockey is what happened around this Nashville game. So Marcus basically says, I'm going to have a busy Saturday night. So he throws into the air early. So this rookie has a couple days where he's probably not sleeping at night because he knows somebody's coming after him. He doesn't know, how the Nashville broadcast is what's on Hockey Fights. So you hear the guys talking about this. He doesn't know what's coming at him. Is it a cheap shot? Is it a fight? And then you're hearing, well, Marcus isn't going to fight him because he's not in his weight class, and that's against the code. And maybe it's against the code to sort of say something before the game. And then they have Trennan fight him, who's an old Nashville guy. I just love all the little nuances of hockey. the code is just so cool to me how they think through that stuff. Like and the kid knows he has to answer the bell because of what he did. I mean, just all of it. I just that's the kind of game I circle on the calendar because I just want to see what's going to happen. I wish we would have won. I think it's right though. That style that we were kind of into a few years ago, that 7th Street Savages. I don't know. I don't know if that's a winning recipe, like you said. I wish it was. I kind of like that style, but it just seems like that's not our game.
I do think that the like physicality and big bodies are like that style of winning is going to come back. I just all of a sudden start to think that maybe it doesn't look like the 7th Street Savages. Like maybe it isn't leading the league in majors. Maybe it's like just being bigger and more physical than everybody else, you know. And but I do think that is going to be the competitive advantage going forward. Like the Iser plan, it's not working right now. Maybe I could be entirely wrong. Like if you look at the Iser plan, where he wants big, heavy, stout D,
but that is different than majors, like you said, right? So
yeah,
look at Trennan. Okay, he is hammering guys. He's hitting guys. That was his first fight of the year, right?
I think so.
So he hasn't even fought ever until we're 44 games into the season. Not a single major. Lately, the last month, he's bouncing guys off the glass. He's pinning people against the boards. He's hitting everything that moves. That is a different – that could be the Iser plan, right? Big bodies, bouncing guys off windshields, not necessarily, 5-minute penalties all the time. So I think it's kind of just splitting hairs, but I do think you got to be hard and big and tough, especially in the playoffs. But I don't know how much of that's just dancing with a guy for 5.
But I do think that the Wild have done a good job this year, and it's part of the reason that they've had the success that they've had to start the year is that they've figured out and realized that being hard to play against does include an element of physicality and size, but it isn't like angry aggression.
Nope.
So like when they're on the forecheck and they're on top of pucks and they're just finishing their hit, not like running the guy through the glass, just like a bump, just a bump, just a bump, all game.
It adds
all
up.
Game.
It adds up.
The other team's just like, I'm done. And if you look at the Colorado game, I don't think that guys were running around, but Cale Makar goes into the wall awkwardly. Like Rantanen was on the ice getting up, and if you go back, watch that game, watch how many times he slowly gets up off the ice. At one point, I don't think this was on purpose, one of the D fired like a rim around the boards, just trying to enter the zone into Rantanen, and he goes down and he gets up and he's shaking his head. He's like, I quit for the day. I'm done. And
he's like, this is terrible.
Yeah, he just wanted to be done. All kinds of little things too. Like Rantanen won a face-off, I think, when they were on the power play against Gaudreau, but he missed it with like 3 swipes because it was like the second effort of Gaudreau and the wings that made him miss that, and then he's down on the ice, and again, a slow get up. They just made it really hard for Colorado to get it going at any point in time, and it took physicality, it took some size and strength, but it didn't take, hey, we're going to push you around. It's, hey, we're going to make things uncomfortable for you. There's a difference, but I do think that Hines and Billy and the group this summer realized that, like, hard to play against doesn't mean tough,
Well, and it's big bodies, right? Juracek, Trennan, Foligno. Even if they kind of awkwardly bump into you or fall on you, or it adds up. I wanted to give you a little local color on Nashville. Tons of Minnesotans on this trip. A lot. There was even Let's Go Wild chants breaking out. I think from a road game standpoint, everyone talks about Vegas. I've seen games there. I'm not a fan. Nashville's unbelievable. You got Keith Urban sings the national anthem. Nicole Kidman's walking around. Jelly Roll's walking around. Noah Kahan's in the section next to me. It's almost like a college hockey atmosphere. Like the cheers were all those, you suck, it's all your fault. And they score goals, and they have this weird Tim McGraw AI video that pops on, and he's swinging a catfish. It looks like it was made on Jib Jab in the 90s. And it's an electric atmosphere, and it's right on the end of Broadway. I mean, if you're a Wild fan and you want to go see your favorite team play on the road, I thought it was just really a fun place to see a hockey game. And granted, it was a 6-2 loss, and it was still fun. I don't know where that ranks up there for you, but I just thought it was excellent hockey environment. It felt a little bit like, people that are new to hockey, a little bit college. Someone might say JV, right, in terms of the types of cheers they're doing, but it was super loud. They play music while the fights are happening, which is weird. Do you like that atmosphere? And when you think of the buildings you go into the road, or maybe I was just having fun, but I thought it was a really fun place to see a road game.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's the parallel, and it's pretty close, is they call it Nash Vegas now too. It's similar in that they both have like their little strip of entertainment, and at the end it drops off into the rink. So people go in there with an energy that they picked up out on the streets.
Yeah.
They carry it into the arena, and
Yeah.
it's as much a show as it is a game. And I think people enjoy it. They're there for entertainment. I think you can feel that in both of those places. I think it's a competitive advantage for them, quite frankly. Like you look at Vegas and the energy that they get in their building, Nashville the same. But yeah, I think it's great. I haven't experienced it like walking around the concourse or like a fan.
It's electric. Lot of Wild on 7 fans, got to meet them, and it was really fun. I had a good. This wasn't quite like the egg toss from our video guy back in the day, but I had to run back to the hotel and get something, and I jumped on a Lime scooter. Maybe shouldn't have, but and I couldn't figure out if you're supposed to drive the Lime scooter on the sidewalk or the road.
Does anybody know that?
I don't think anybody knows that. Also,
Like it feels dangerous on the road. You don't have a helmet. You're like, I should. Then you're on the sidewalk. You're like, I'm going to kill a pedestrian, maybe catch a dog on a leash.
so this is not just me, right? So I don't know what to do. So I'm driving on the sidewalk because I'm like, I'm going to choose me over the bus that might hit me. And then there's 3 guys in suits in front of me, and I can tell they keep looking back because I don't know what I guess I'm maybe not supposed to be there, but I can't go on the road, and I just drive past them, and it's Faber and Chisholm and Rossi, and I just go wild and drive by on the Lime scooter. I was like, this is tough, but yeah, I did not get injured. You could get hurt on those scooters, but there's just something about them that it's just so exciting, and you just want to ride them. Have you done it? Like, I love them. I will always try them, but they are not safe.
Oh, no, they're great.
They're super fun, but like they don't start right away. And so when they finally start, like the wheel will pop up on you, and you could be out in the middle of the street by then. And it's always in cities where people are drinking all the time too. But yeah, I got a close up of the player. So apologies to our guest today, Marco Rossi. He turned around in his turtleneck and was like, "What is going on?" But I got bypassed, and I don't know that they knew it was me. Hopefully, but yeah, I almost ran over 3 of our players on Saturday.
Yeah, those Lime scooters are the wild, wild west. Like I don't. You know how they say you're supposed to walk with traffic or ride your bike with traffic too?
That's what I was doing. I was trying to do that
Yeah, but that doesn't feel right anymore.
because they can't see you. They're always
You
turning
can't see
around.
them. You
Yeah.
can't see them. I get it, like for the traffic laws, like right-hand turns and everything else. But I'd rather be like looking at the cars coming at me so I can bail out and jump off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to see what's going to kill you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to just get run down from behind. Because
No.
that's the scare. Because like everybody's on their phone, right? And then at the same time, like, but the road's also dicey because you're supposed to be like on the right-hand side,
And there's no room on the road. I
No.
thought about the road, but
and those tires are skinny. Like if you get pinched and go over like a drain grate or something, you might go flying too. They're just dangerous.
yeah. Also, like, can't stop wanting to ride them. I know they're dangerous. Like, they could have a sign, like a pack of cigarettes with a picture of a broken wrist, like a huge picture of a broken wrist. You're still jumping on like it's not going to happen to me.
Have you ever fallen on one?
No, I think the more dangerous thing is when you're on them. What'll happen is a person will just pop out of like
Nowhere.
they're in a bus little hut waiting for a bus, and all of a sudden they just come out and you didn't see them. Yeah, I haven't had an accident on one yet, but I for sure would. I think if I were to ride 2 miles on one, I would break something.
I was in Dallas, and it was after dark riding, and the curb like stopped,
Did you go off?
went flying off of it. So like you're going full speed, everything's going well, and then it was like I just couldn't see because the sidewalk wasn't lit well enough. Boom, where it
How did you land?
it almost like dips down because it's like a walkway, you know. So it's like on the sidewalk, boom, off of the walkway, front tire into another one. I mean, it was okay, just like a quick little roll. I wasn't like hurt. The same scooter, I was able to get back on.
I knew you would like them too, because I know your personality. Like, because even when I had to go myself to the hotel quickly, and I was just like, well, what do we have here? I think this app is on my phone from 2 years ago. Let's re-download it. Yeah, and I knew you'd have the same mentality of like, I shouldn't do this, but also kind of fun.
Do you think it'd be significantly harder if you had to carry like grocery bags? Like,
Yeah, like say if I went to Cub,
Yeah.
like my favorite grocery store, I got to think this through. So I I was carrying my wife's winter jacket back from the hotel, so that was not safe either. I couldn't tie it around my waist, which is another story. But I would say if I was at Cub now with the championship games coming up in NFL, Four Nations, I would probably just get a bunch of delicious, healthy snacks. Maybe get a basket to be safe. Throw a basket on the back. Throw some really high value, either spirits or beer from one of their mini liquor stores. Or if I didn't feel safe that day, I could always have Cub deliver, because they do that as well. That's your favorite grocery store. They're Minnesota. They're fans of sports, and they are Cub. Support them, please. And for you, if you did break your wrist and had to construct a new one that was even stronger than your original wrist, who would you trust to do the build? I felt good about that.
yeah, so maybe I'd trust to use their lumber to build a splint. I don't know that I'd trust them to build.
Bone marrow, yeah.
There you go. But those are my friends at Wild Construction. And today what I want to talk about is probably my experience with them. I think you get door knockers and different things during the summer when you have a storm roll through. They're not like that. They're not chasing your business or making you feel greasy. My experience with them was terrific. They were great to work with, from the adjusters to the insurance company. They helped all along the way. And then at the same time, if you just need a project done around your house, siding, windows, roofing, no insurance stuff needed, they work with you there too. My guy Freddie Dean, he's perfect, wonderful. Couldn't recommend him more highly. So if you're in the market for any exterior work, whether that be siding, your windows, doors, new roof, even painting, like you name it, they've got you covered. They'll make it happen. Wildconstruction.com. Check them out.
Great job. I didn't get applause on my transition, but that was good.
Hey!
Thank you. Better late than never. Better late than never.
Speaking of transition, how about Jake Middleton going from a defensive defenseman to an offensive defenseman? This guy,
Midstrom.
if he played against his brother Keaton, like a junior schedule where you play the same team 8 to 10 times a year, he'd have signed an extension like Brock Faber.
He'd be Cale McCarr.
Yeah. I mean, all he does is score whenever he plays against little brother Keaton. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. I think he got an apple last game too. Unbelievable top pair D-man. The mustache is just out there. It's a force to be reckoned with right now.
It's a scouring pad. Like if you had something on your sink.
Like a Brillo pad, like steel wool.
Yes, it's steel wool. It is all misshapen. It is just, it's great. I mean, we're talking Sam Elliott level.
When he trims it, you should use the trimmings to
I don't think you
plug
could
up
trim
any
it.
cracks in your foundation of the house that the mice can't eat through it. Did you know that works with steel wool?
So you put steel wool where?
Like where you think that mice are entering the house and they can't chew through that?
Well, that's what it is. That's what his mustache is.
That's what I mean.
So no mice near Jake's face either.
No.
Can't get into his pie hole. Yeah, no, he looked like a million. But he's so happy when he plays his brother too.
He's just happy when he plays. You talk about a guy that looks like he enjoys what he does. That's Jake Middleton. Like from playing to scoring to hitting to sitting on the bench,
Yeah.
locker room, to sitting up here having to do podcast stuff with us. Like he just enjoys what he's doing.
I would like to go on a cattle drive with Jake Middleton. Just like a 2-week move a herd.
You really are into this 1883, aren't you?
Well, that one I'd die. I would die on the second day of that.
Is that
what if I was on a Lime scooter moving a herd? But Jake is just that way. Remember when he was here last time? He had to do an event at a brewery, and he's just like, "You guys want to go?" Like, I mean, he's so gregarious. Would that be the word you would use? Yeah, he's having a ball out there. You can tell he loves his brother. You can tell he loves playing hockey. So yeah, 2 points for Middleton, 2 points for Ogren yesterday too. And I guess I didn't really notice him, but when I looked at the score sheet, I was like, oh, that's interesting. A couple apples for the young Swede. Did you see him doing anything, or was that right place, right time kind of thing?
Well, I tell you what I did notice a couple of different things where youthful energy in a lineup. I don't think it gets enough credit for how valuable it can be, and that doesn't mean like good young players. That just means like a guy that's willing to like skate through a puck battle. And I'm not throwing shade, but like Matt Zuccarello's not going to skate into a battle as hard as Liam Ogren is, or he's not going to contest the puck at the red line or make sure he gets the red line to get the puck in the zone. Like, and that maybe that's a great example. Like Zuccarello's going to use his skill, lay it softly in an area so he can get the change, relieve the pressure. Both work, right? Where Ogren's he's gonna put the head down, he's gonna get the red line, he's gonna dump that puck in the corner, he's gonna chase it down, because he's that hungry. That starts to add up. That starts to matter. And I think about the way that the Colorado game went. They couldn't ever really, Colorado that is, couldn't get going. On paper, they're the better team with the players that they had available in that game.
Yep.
They couldn't get it going. But I like the youthful energy of Ogren, like just pace. On the Middleton goal, it was simple. Third line got good, and same with the fourth to some degree, because they drive the puck down low. He turns up. He makes a simple play. He hits the D, second wave. Like that's hockey 101. And Liam Ogren was doing it, and he did it well. And that's where skill meets effort, and he's got that. And I think that's the player that he's probably going to have to be. So it was, and it has been good the last couple of games just to see a guy start off in the NHL, think he has to be a certain way, go down to the American League, play, and then see different guys get called up, and he gets passed. And I'm sure he's told this is a process. Just continue to be good. Just be who you are. Just keep working. This isn't about you. That's not why you're not being called up. Then he finally gets his chance. He comes up, and he looks mentally prepared, ready to play, understands the style that he has to play to be good. I liked his game. I think he brings a youthful energy. And again, this is all about the playoffs. When you get into the playoffs, you need that youthful energy to give you a boost at certain times throughout a 7-game series. And for me, that's what's exciting. I think you go through the past winners, you look at different times in their runs to the Stanley Cup. There are unsung heroes and they're young guys that just play well, play hard, do these little things, and it works.
They're like the sunshine. If you don't have sunshine where you're playing, at least you got that young kid coming in. What do they say? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's no. I even think that of just beer league, right? You want a couple young guys in the room. Ask them what they did on the weekend. Bringing something different to the team, and I think that's. If you think of it kind of like a chain, right? You're trying to. We can get into the chain as well, but trying to push you. The next 3 games, the next week. Having that shot of adrenaline from a young kid. And if Ogren can play kind of a quiet game and get 2 assists, that's a pretty good sign of things to come, I think. But so what the hard chain has been lost. I missed this because I was on the road and I didn't see any of the banter, but has it been found or what?
We don't know. It's been temporarily misplaced.
By like the equipment team that was like traveling, they like lost a bag or something.
Yeah, I don't know how or where. We don't have the details yet, but what we know is that they had to make one up last minute, and looked like they cut the blade of a stick off, drilled a couple of holes. Silver Sharpie wrote hard on it, and that took place of the actual hard chain.
Could this be a prank, like a Sidney Crosby getting way leveled up against Fleury and like somehow
that would be like a whole new level.
Because I don't even know, like that's probably against the code, right? If you take a prank into taking someone's trophy, but it seems kind of like, I mean, Flower's been throwing some stuff around with other teams. I wonder if one of these guys just knew somebody on a road rink and was like, hey, that suitcase, I'm going to tie a red ribbon around the handle. That one doesn't get on the plane.
Yeah. What I would guess happened is, well, and I don't know if, I'm sure fans do know this by now, but there was travel terrorism on the way to Nashville.
Yeah, they had a new aircraft had to come from Florida.
Yeah, so our guest, Marco Rossi, we were able to sit down with him before they took off for the Nashville game. And he was in a hurry. He was getting text messages from his
Faber.
teammates, like, let's go. We got to go to your house, get your bag. Let's go. So he had to hustle, get out of here. Well, it turns out he didn't, because he sat there for probably 7 more hours before a plane came in. So they didn't get to Nashville till before that. My guess is somehow in that chaos it got misplaced, because they go from home game to the practice facility, and then practice facility to the airport, gone. So it
Yeah, when
probably
they
was taken
changed the
out
aircraft.
of a bag into a bag, sitting around changing aircraft, like unpack the bags, let them dry here. I don't know what you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I bet they have it now. They probably found it.
Yeah, I'm sure they know where it is, but the temporary ones still. I think it was Fleury that ended up getting it. Is that right? Marc-Andre Fleury got the temp.
Just a blade of a stick with hard written like on the tape.
Yes, silver Sharpie.
That's
I think it's hockey lace as the chain. It was a good.
That might be harder actually. Maybe that's good. Maybe we should stick with that one.
What I'm more curious about is who noticed. Like when was somebody like, oh crap, we don't have it, because it was made in time for the win. Like I don't think so. Maybe they knew in Nashville and they had it made up then and they just kept it holstered.
Can you imagine telling that to Hartman? Just you're the equipment guy, right? Like you have one job, and you're like, "Hey, Artsy, you know well, we don't got it."
What
I mean, that would not go over well with the voice. I think if you lost that,
I think we're gonna have to launch a full-fledged investigation,
somebody might be
because
in trouble.
Is it possible that Craig made that hard chain just disappear?
Well, we know that what he wants is a trophy. And by the way,
Yeah.
closed circuit Suzuki. Maybe Hartman's listening to the podcast and he can tell Zuki. I like the idea of the dented cup because it's the cup, as you've said. I don't hate that. It does need to hang low. You don't want that up by your airway or your mouth. But I think if you got a long enough chain on that dented cup, that's a pretty cool replacement. I'm down with the owner's idea.
Me too. Do you think it's just like
You think
a
he's setting it up?
coincidence? Do you think it's just a coincidence that the owner has a hard chain idea?
He knows
and the
people.
hard chain disappears like the next game.
So the old hard chain's up in the St. Paul Hotel on the top level, and he's just like, deal with it. He's like, I got an idea. Here's something you could do. I like that. Maybe Nordy is involved.
I find it frightening. What else could he make disappear?
I don't know. Is this an ad transition?
No,
Okay.
no.
He could probably make anything disappear.
Maybe make us disappear. We got to
Yeah.
be careful what we talk about.
Oh, he can definitely make us disappear. Hey, can we do a little on Rossi because he's such a unique guest? As we got other things to do, fan questions from Peps and such. But this kid, man. So when we interview players, they're all different. They're all good dudes, but they all have different personalities. So Marco Rossi is having a great season, and I think he's kind of a hipster pick as your favorite player, right? Because he's not the guy maybe like Kaprizov or even Boldy that gets all the attention. He's not the local Brock Faber story. So he's kind of like the deep cut B side. Like if you got a Marco Rossi jersey, you're kind of like a hipster. It's cool, you know, because he's a very good player, but he's maybe not the guy with his name in lights. And so we try to really kind of, when you listen to this interview, this is the second time he's been on the podcast, and he is just a wholesome kid, right? That's what you would say, wholesome?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, his family probably gave, toothpaste and pencils for Halloween. I mean, he is like, he is in the swim lane, good dude. So we bring all these skits in, and I would say the skits, 1 out of 10 in terms of how we're cooking toaster strudel. He doesn't want to eat it. He probably
didn't want to eat it. That was probably the best part.
He
I
had
don't think he eats.
No,
shrimp.
I don't think he puts anything into his body that's not the right thing. I think toaster strudel is not high on his nutritionist deal. He did humor us for a bite. He didn't seem to know.
Put it down fast.
He didn't seem to know who Arnold Schwarzenegger was. Kind of a big Austrian, trying to get him to say, get to the chopper. So when you listen to this, just know, like, This was us trying to turn Marco Rossi into Marco the Barbarian, and I think we underestimated that probably wouldn't work. But I think you'll find it entertaining for sure.
You know who he is to me? He's the homecoming king. So the homecoming king isn't like the most popular guy in school. It's the guy that can like be and hang around with everybody. He's
Friends with everyone.
He's
He gets
part of the
votes.
National Honor Society. He's one of the best players on the hockey team.
The jocks like him. The nerds like him. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a little bit of everything. He can relate to every single person in some way. Now it's his own way, but yeah, man. For me, that's what he is. He's the homecoming king. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to listen to and watch him too. I think he was trying to say the Schwarzenegger quotes as in clear English as possible. And we wanted it to be more
Yeah, like
Austrian.
no, like dial up the Austrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a complete train wreck, and it should be very fun to listen to, though. I think.
All right. Well, before we throw to it, that was a pretty hefty tease on it. We've got a couple things we've got to get to. So we've got Hockey Day coming up, which is pretty exciting. That's on Saturday. It's an earlier start, so be prepared if you like it. So FanDuel Sports North.
When would you tune in? It's like if you want to do the whole, warm your hands by the fire, the whole television experience, FanDuel. What time are you turning on the TV?
Yeah, it's probably coffee time in
Like
the morning.
9 or is
8.
it? It's at 8 a.m.
I
Okay,
think the
so
first game's 8:30.
so just toss that
So-
on when you wake up. You're getting your morning paper on the driveway.
So everything's bumped up a little earlier this year, and it's because the Wild are playing Calgary. And
At 6.
yeah, and usually the Wild game is at 8, so everything's like 2 hours earlier than it historically has been. And the reason the Wild are playing at 6 is because Calgary, the Canadian team, it's hockey night in Canada, so the national program put it at 6 p.m., and that bumped every Hockey Day event a couple hours earlier. So there's a game, I think, at 8:30 in the morning, then the girls' college game with the Gophers. That will be around 11:30, and then the second high school game at 2:30.
Shakopee.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And you get to you met the Murph. I saw you interview her. So you get to see kind of a pretty entertaining women's game with the Gopher girls. So have you been out to the site? Like the thing that I'm really interested in is this whole like roller coaster. It's right next to the rink. Like, can you be upside down on the Wild thing watching a hockey game in like 30-degree weather? Is it open?
I haven't been out there. I've seen like videos and stuff of it. I've heard that they're going to try to have a portion of the park open.
If that happens, if you can be on a roller coaster in January watching a high school hockey game on Hockey Day Minnesota upside down, that's great. Like that makes you one of the best hockey days. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I would do that. I'd just be like, I've never watched a hockey game.
You watch the
roller
Wild
coaster.
game from Wild Thing.
That's right. And that's
on the big screen. That'd be
That's the
unreal.
roller coaster that's right next to the rink, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the Wild thing is green and yellow.
Yeah.
And it looked like the photos I saw of the site, it looks like the Wild thing is just wrapped around the rink. So whoever the marketing genius was that came up with Valley Fair, I mean, let's go. It seems fun. And also maybe concessions open. Like that could be cool. Like you're getting a Slurpee and going on the roller coaster and watching some hockey, and I don't know. That seems pretty fun. I like that they tried something different.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It seems like Hockey Day just levels up year after year after year. So excited to see how it all pans out.
And
what
you're doing the whole gauntlet.
Well, I've got a couple games. So the first game in the morning, everything starts at 8 in the morning. That's the kickoff. First game is 8:30. That's Eden Prairie versus Hibbing. Excited about that. You've got a big metro school, AA in Eden Prairie, playing one of the smaller schools, Hibbing Chisholm.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah, somebody coming down. Like it's the North versus the cities. Love that storyline. It's
Maybe
great.
Hibbing wins that because it's kind of a Bob Dylan sort of year with the movie.
Yeah.
I could see that. And then what do you got?
Then it's the University of Minnesota girls versus Bemidji, I should say women. So that game will be out there too. Pretty excited about that one. Abby Murphy's great. I'm not broadcasting that one. That's a different crew. They need better broadcasters for that game.
People that are dialed in on the women's hockey.
I think
Yep.
so. And then 11:30 is, or I should say 2:30, Shakopee High School versus Maple Grove, and that's the big metro matchup with the
OMG against the host.
Shakopee's good. They're hosting. They're good. So it's shaping up to be a good day. I think the weather's going to turn around. Thank goodness it's not.
Yeah, it looked like about 28, so that's a good day. If you're not doing something already, head on over to HDM.
Yeah, it could have been this weekend where like school's canceled. It's freezing cold out.
I was watching the ticker, and I was waiting for the W's to see Wild on 7th, delayed 2 hours.
2 hours.
Wild on 7th, distance learning. All after school activities canceled. Yeah, we didn't get canceled though, so we grind it out no matter what.
Dude, if it was a 2-hour delay, what would you have had on the TV tray while you sat there with your feet elevated for an extra hour or two?
Well, Ryan, that's an easy question. Because of the time of year, I just spent some time in Nashville. I did get something called a $6 recession special, which was a fried bologna sandwich, a bag of chips, a PBR, and a moon pie for $6 at Robert's Western World. So if I was trying to compensate for that type of behavior, I would go get some Jimmy's veggie dip. I would get dill dip. I would get some ranch. I would get a veggie tray. I would bring that spread maybe Sunday for the championship games, have it set up for Four Nations, Super Bowl, February 9th. Yeah, I would go with Jimmy's, local company, Minnesota company. Don't you be messing with my dressing. Okay. How's your rink and your water?
It's good.
Your transitions
right.
are easier than mine, by the way, because you're in like a construction company and then this like home systems. I mean, you got dip and a grocery store. So to be fair, it's harder for me to give you tape-to-tape passes.
You tried, though.
I did.
All you can ensure is effort, and you tried.
When I just get jammed up, I'm like, water.
You know who else ensures effort? That's Aquarius Home Services. They do. And if you want to eliminate hard water and hard water hassles, they're the people to call. It's that time of year where like the temperatures are dropping, like you're below zero. Can't you just feel your face turn into a raisin? Like the house is dry, your lips are chapped, everything stinks about that. Well, you know what combats that? Good, soft water. So if you do like the softer skin, shiny fixtures in your house, smooth laundry, spot-free dishes, give Aquarius Home Services a call. They'll hook you up. They've got great products. We have their softener in the basement. It's very efficient. We use very little salt, but the water is soft. We've got the K5 Kinetico reverse osmosis system at the sink. The kids, it's the only water they drink. Everything else tastes off to them. We love it. Right now, you can save up to 25% off a whole home system, and it starts with the free water analysis. So AquariusHomeservices.com. Schedule your free water analysis. They're earning the right to be recommended. I recommend them. Go check them out, Kinger. And don't forget to tell them Wild on 7 sent you.
I like that. Another great tagline, earn the right to be recommended. What do you want to do? You want to do these PEPS questions? You want to do a Bosch Law injury report? What kind of look?
Yeah, let's get into the Bosch Law injury report because I do kind of feel like we got some bait and switch. I was excited. Coaches and everybody talk about how there's a progression, how you go from off the ice to skating by yourself to skating with the team to playing. I think what we've become accustomed to is that it goes off the ice, skating with the team, instantly back. Like it takes one practice with the team and you're back. So before they left for Nashville, it sounded like Spurgeon and Kaprizov were skating. It was like, oh, they're back. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I got multiple texts. Kirill Kaprizov can be activated as early as Saturday night. So I thought he would be on the bird, as you say, but found out he wasn't. Was pretty bummed out.
And it's tough to track right now because guys are on it, they're off it. Like the salary cap is crazy. You're going to have to go 11-7. You have to play a player short. Don't know, but Liam Ogren gets his chance. He's good. Marc-Andre Fleury has to play 2 games in a row. The Wild call up an emergency goaltender. And
was Gus just sick? Or what?
I don't know. Saw him today. We don't know. I think we heard illness. Maybe something else was bugging him or lingered. But Fleury gets 2 starts. Nonetheless, the Wild are surviving right now. They're not thriving. They're waiting for their reinforcements to come back. I do think that guys have played above their pay grade and played above their pay grade admirably.
Yes.
Again, that's a silver line. We touched on that last year with Faber, how we maybe don't know how good Faber is if Spurgeon doesn't get hurt. I think Chisholm's been good. I think Johnny Merrill's been good. Jake Middleton has all of a sudden elevated his game. He's been great upon his return. Bogosian, similar. Everybody, especially on the back end, has had to level up, and they've been good. The decor has been great, but it does feel like they're running out of gas a little bit. Like these guys need to get back. They need some reinforcements. So hopefully we get one or two of those guys back here this week.
And it seems like a good stretch to do it, right? So you'll get Utah on Thursday. You got Hockey Day against Calgary, and then you go right back to back. You got to go to Chicago and play the Blackhawks on Sunday. So if I'm thinking of a 3-day stretch, because Kirill coming back into the lineup, if he does, there is a little period where the team has to figure out how to do that again. And you can almost take a step backwards before you take a step forward. I always notice that. So I think this 3-game set, Utah, Flames, Chicago, that feels like a pretty nice time to start putting the the Elvis back in the Elvis movie and see what happens when 97's there, because maybe they have a little bit more of
big
flexibility.
And big week because there's 3 gettable games.
Absolutely.
You've got Utah, Calgary, Chicago. And the schedule, it's not perfect because you go Thursday, then back-to-back with a quick turnaround, and Hockey Day Saturday.
Jump on the plane, you got to go on the road Sunday.
Yeah, so the schedule's not great. In Chicago, all of a sudden, it's like better. They're not the Chicago at the start of the year, even training camp. So that's a little challenging, but they're still gettable games. And I think the Wild are in a spot mentally where they need to find a way to win 2, if not 3 of these games.
Get 4 points out of 6.
And win them comfortably. Like, there's a difference between like a 4-1, like we played well game, versus a
6-4. Yeah.
Or even like a 4-3 come from behind victory that was stressful. We were down. They need a couple like, hey, we're good again kind of wins. So let's get to the fans' questions.
Which one? I'll let you pick first. We have 2 fan questions. You can pick the one you want.
Yeah, this is
Pep's
original
Draft House.
Yeah, frozen
pizza.
pizza's good stuff, man. Get them at Cub. Get them someplace. Good stuff. But the fan questions with Pep's original. Who on the team would you go on a hunting and fishing trip with? Boy, that I know that one for you is easy. You'd go on a cattle drive with Jake Middleton.
I would.
I think for me though, it would be Bogosian.
Yeah, because he's special forces guy,
and he naturally does that. Like he'd probably give you the high-powered rifle, and then he'd take like just a knife or something.
He has night vision goggles involved.
Yeah, or if you went on a fishing trip with him, you ever watch the show Alone?
I've heard you guys talk about it. Yeah, that's where they just drop somebody.
They drop you off, and it's near water, and you just got to find a way to survive. So people have to like conjure up their own way to catch fish. I feel like Bogosian would do that. He'd give you like his tackle box and his rod, and then he'd go grab a stick from the woods and carve out a hook out of some wood, and all of a sudden outfish you like that. So I'd pick him.
Yeah, I gotta go Jake. It's a pontoon, and it's panfish, and we're eating them, shore lunch. It's sunny, listening to country music on some sort of jam box, maybe a little Noah Kahan mixed in there. Second question from Peps. Do you think the Wild will ever bring the red jerseys back? These are kind of the Christmas specials. I guess the Mikko Koivu era I would attach to those jerseys. And if so, do you want them back? Do you like that jersey? I actually, this is a trick question because this is the Ryan Carter era. I think you had a lot of great games in that red jersey, didn't you?
I like it.
Yeah, you're like, yep. So that wasn't, you want to think about it?
No, I don't need to think about it. I like the red sweater. I like the color red in general for a team. Like, it's underutilized, I think. And when red's like the core color, like they were on that jersey, I think it's just a good look.
See, I didn't like them.
I don't like Canada, but
I didn't like them when we had them. But now that they've gone away, I think it would be exciting to have them come back. Which is super weird to say because I didn't really like them, but they're so iconic. Like they are, like everybody remembers that jersey. So I think having them come back for a short period, I think they'd probably sell a lot of them actually because people would be like, yeah, I'm going to do the red ones, the Christmas specials. So yeah, I'm down with them coming back if they come back. Wasn't a fan originally, but it does remind me of the Wild, so I think it'd be kind of fun, just like the retros, to see them come back.
Right on. Hey, let's not bury the lead any longer. All right, we got Marco Rossi here. Good stuff. Whether it's
enjoy us,
Strudels, Schwarzenegger, you name it. This is Marco Rossi.
Have fun,
Marco. I hope you're hungry.
This is your second time here, so.
All right, so hit the button on the toaster. You don't know what these are?
No, I know what it is.
Like
I
a-
eat that all the time.
So look,
But not like this?
I've never seen it like this.
this
Because
is
normally we do it self-made.
this is definitely
That's
not
not
from
self-made.
Austria. This is not from Austria.
So like you make your own strudel?
Not me, my mom or my girlfriend and stuff.
Do you put it in the toaster?
No.
Like in
Oven.
the oven?
Hey, show them how we do the frosting. Give them a little tip on the.
That's the first time I see that you can buy like that.
Do you like Do you like apple? Like what's the go-to flavor?
Yeah, apple strudel is the go-to. That's
know,
like the Austrian thing.
That's what
That's what the-
Google said.
That's what the internet said.
yeah.
You I can't reach it, so you show them. Do you have icing on your strudel at home? Like
You
sugars?
put like normally vanilla sauce over, or you have like an ice cream sometimes. But
See what we're doing here, Marco. If
I
you,
would see how it's gonna taste.
we're gonna warm it up here.
Now, full
Okay.
disclosure, there's sugar in this.
Yeah, I don't know if you're team chef. Like, I don't know that is on the meal plan. But what if you get like 4 points against Nashville after this? Then we'll just give you a bunch of these.
Then we'll give him a strudel endorsement deal.
Yeah, we'll get you a deal.
We'll turn you into the Pillsbury Doughboy. I don't think he knows what that is.
Should we welcome him in properly?
Yeah.
All right, we got a second timer. The kid is just having a year. He's a stud. He's Mr. Consistency. Marco Rossi is back with us on Wild on 7, sponsored by Duke Cannon. I don't know what we got to talk about your hair and see what you're up to, but if your hair is a weapon or you wish it was, Duke Cannon is your friend. Local company, awesome products. You can find them at Target, find them at the hardware store. Get yourself hooked up with Duke Cannon, hardworking products for hardworking dudes. Welcome back. Have a year, buddy. You are Mr. Consistency. I've loved in a year when everything is coming at us. A load-bearing wall has been Marco Rossi. So, congrats on a great start to the season.
Yeah.
How's it been feeling for you?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, it sucks. Obviously, we have so many injured guys right now. It's crazy. Like last year too. It's just like I don't know. It's haunting us. But like all the other guys who are obviously healthy, we just try to step up and try to help the team. Obviously.
Yeah. With that, like, what were your goals coming into the season? I think that each off season, it seems like you've gone into it with something that you focused on to get better at, and you've come and you've implemented that into the game, and you've grown and gotten better every year substantially. What was it this summer that you worked on that you wanted to get better at?
I mean, same stuff than like the years before. I mean, getting stronger and faster is always the goal, And then other than that, on the ice, I try to work on little things, on my shot and stuff like that, and just obviously getting faster too. And I mean, the biggest thing is the confidence. I always say that, but I feel like when you have confidence, you will play automatically better. Obviously, you're gonna have more poise with the puck, and then more plays gonna open up and stuff like that.
So you have confidence in the shot now because you're shooting at what, a 20% clip?
Yeah, we got to talk about this. I know that Zuki was saying you're all take, no give, and Coach Zuki got the whiteboard out. You get 4 assists the next night. But when we're looking at the stats here, 85 shots. That is very low. Here we go. Ready?
Toaster strudel.
Oh, that's his toe.
Oh, they got jammed.
It's a tired toaster.
We're
It's
good,
a
we're
tired
good.
toaster. Let them cool. That's a pro move.
Yeah, we'll let them cool. We don't want to burn you. 85 shots, 20% shooting percentage. That, by the way, is the highest percentage on the entire team. So is your tendency to pass or shoot, like defer, or because actually I don't want to go against Coach Zuki, but I think maybe you could actually shoot more. I mean, it's a crazy idea, but where are we at with pass shoot?
I don't know. I try to have a good mix on it. I mean,
When you play a Zuki, you have to do both, maybe.
yeah. I mean, when I score, then I hear something from Suki that I have to pass it more, and but when he gives me the puck, I can shoot, so that's fine then.
When he gets it to you,
Yeah.
you can shoot.
I can shoot then.
As
But
long
if
as
he
it
hasn't touched it, you can't shoot yet.
as long as it goes through Zuki.
Yeah.
If it gets, if it's a touch of Zuki,
So when he gets the whiteboard, he's like, just so you know, I was here, and before you shoot, you have to bump it to me, and then it can come back to you.
I mean, he's the coach in our line.
Do they let you sit by? So you've been with Boldy and Zuki on the bench. Do they let you sit with them now? Because you know how they stay on like the one side and they don't scoot down.
Yeah.
Do you get to sit with them? Do you stay with them? Do you feel obligated, or do you scoot?
No, I try to stay on this side, but normally it's like Suki's always on that side. Boats is moving lately always like to the middle, but so I take his spot now.
So you took the spot next to Zuki and you stay
Yeah.
there?
But when Korea's back, obviously Korea and Suki are together, and then on the next side. But sometimes it gets so tight because
Yeah,
like, the door
the
gets
door.
open, you
Yeah.
know, and then we're all stuck there sometimes.
Yeah.
So
There's enough room for 2 people back there, but
He's
not
tight.
3.
Yeah, no.
What's
He's
it?
tight.
What's the difference? I was watching on the bench, and it seems like Bolds talks a lot. I see you guys talking. You crush the iPad a lot. You get the, you're looking at stuff, and what are the personalities like of your line mates? Like, what is Zuki like when you're not on the ice? What is Bolds, Kirill? What are their kind of what do they do on the bench?
Yeah, I mean, Suki doesn't take the iPad, you know, he's more with the whiteboard guy, but me and boys, after almost every shift, want to see what happened, you know, and just gonna watch on the iPad some shifts, and obviously when we have it out there, Suki wants to see too, but Suki's not the guy who's gonna go for the iPad after a shift.
He's a marker and a whiteboard.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So
And
what
what's
would
he-
be
what's he-
one thing
yeah.
he's taught you
Yeah,
like
what's he
this
dra-
year? Like
drawn
what's
up?
one thing he's drawn? He's like, Marco,
Face off play.
you need to do this. Give us one insight into Coach Zuki.
I mean, usually face off, you know,
Yeah.
Okay.
but the face off goes through him, obviously. But
I'm rolling high. You leave
Yeah.
it here, then you go back to
I go to the
right here,
net.
stick here.
I have to go to the net more, obviously. And no, usually it's just face off clips
Yeah.
or like face off
Plays.
setups and yeah.
Something that you can set up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the game's too fluid.
Yeah.
Or maybe there might be instances where he picks something up in their D zone coverage where it can be like, hey, like I noticed this is here or something, like find the soft spot. I think that's great. That's hilarious. If there's somebody on the roster that I think when you play, you watch your teammates, then you're like, man, he's really good at that. Man, that's effective on the ice. Is there somebody on in the dressing room that you find good at something that you're like, man, I want to be more like that, and then go do it in a game?
You think like that people don't talk enough about a guy, or
No, okay. So where I'm going with this is like I feel like you watch a guy like Eriksson Ek play
Yeah.
hockey,
Oh, okay.
and he goes to the net and he plays a certain way. Do you watch that and then you're like, man, like Ecker plays the middle, he goes to the net. It's kind of a simple game, but he scores a ton of goals. Because you're not the same type of player that he is, but you score the same type of goals. Like, do
Yeah.
you learn from a guy like Ek?
yeah, I could learn a lot from him. You know, especially last year, I could see where he's getting the scoring chance and stuff like that. And I mean, he's one of the best players in front of the net, and he's just so strong there. And I tried to, look what he's doing good and stuff like that. And it's not just always in net front. He's good with tipping pucks. He's good with getting the puck back after like a shot and stuff. And yeah, I mean, he's really strong in that. And I try to model a little bit in that way my game too. Because you always gonna know who you're out there with, and when you have like skill guys on the ice, like Suki and Kirill, I have to go more to the net because they like to play our outside. Sometimes they get to the net, and I can play outside. But I mean, if we're all outside, nothing's gonna happen at the net.
Yeah, smart. Smart.
Yeah.
I think that illustrates smart player too. Let's get into one of these strudels. I think.
Yeah, can you do
we
the-
let it cool down? He skipped
is.
lunch to come on the podcast.
You want to do
today.
the frosting
Thank you.
for him? You want to show him how we do this, Carts, with the
Yeah, go-
packet?
Normally the strudel is thick, much thicker.
Really?
Yeah, it looks different.
Help him out there, Carts.
Yeah. Okay. So
Two of these.
you peel this open. You maybe slide one of those over here. This desk is so sanitary.
Yeah, we cleaned it.
Yeah.
Just cleaned it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's some frosting.
Did you get
You
one
kind
open?
of squeeze it on there. I want to ask about confidence a little bit because you're such an interesting player, Marco. Right? You had the thing with COVID, the scare, and then
It's yours. Yeah, that's yours, buddy. You eat that thing.
Everything.
Well, whatever you want. Like you're a pro, man. I
yeah.
know
You
that you
think
probably
about
don't
your
put that in
pattern there,
example.
though. Are you going to do 3 stripes or just?
He just
the
did. He's
top?
doing one bite, like
All
one
right.
bite.
He's
I
just
don't
going to
want to
sample
see
it.
how it tastes. And then
This is like Dave
compare.
Portnoy. One bite. Everybody knows the rules.
I was going to ask you. So, I'm curious what I think confidence is a really interesting thing because you had the health problem right at the start of your career, but you've really locked in these last couple seasons. You've been just doing great. 45 games, 17 goals, 22 assists, 39 points, plus 15, staying out of the box. What do you think your when you model yourself or when you think of your upside? We've compared you to Eriksson Ek here. We having watched him
grow up with the Wild, but what do you think your potential is? Do you think about that? You had 120 points with the Ottawa 67s. I went back and looked at that roster because I was like, is he playing with Braden Point or McDavid? And no, it's basically just you and plus 69. Pretty amazing. So where do you think this could go for you in terms of confidence and the type of player you could be?
I don't know. I just try to think, day by day. Obviously, I had a really good season in Ottawa in that year, but the year before, I had a good season too, but the second year I just had a huge step, and I kind of feel it like this year too. Last year had a good season. This year it's much better. So I'm also a guy who's really good with consistency and just trying to build my game, and so obviously I just try to keep going and just try to keep getting better now.
Consistency is probably the hardest thing for a player to find that's
Yeah.
breaking into the NHL. Like, what do you think you've done well to help find consistency this year? You've gone only twice. Have you gone 2 games in a row without collecting a point? And points don't necessarily mean you're playing good hockey, but at the end of the day, if you're not putting yourself in those positions in the role that you're in, that's an issue too. So, in some ways, it's an illustration that you're doing your job and producing and providing for your team. So, how have you found that consistency?
I mean, I try not to think too much, and never go too high and too low. That's one thing, my dad always told me when I was younger, never go too high. Always when you have a good night, sometimes, especially when you're young, you're going to be so happy and you think so much about, I'm going to be so good, whatever. But when you have a bad night, you can't be low and say like, oh, I've been so bad. And I think that's one thing too for me. I just try to be the same guy, the same level for me with the same energy. And I don't know, it's just been working for me. And I think that's the key for me.
I hate to throw you off, and I know that you like Strudel, and it's an Austrian thing. So we're gonna maybe throw off your taste buds a little bit here. We got to get you to take a bite of this. I think he's trying to avoid
We're
it.
trying to make you feel at home,
Oh,
Marco. You can be
Check it
honest.
out.
You can be honest. I know this was not made in Austria. I think this little doughboy. How is that? Is that something you're going to
Put it in the
ask?
garbage can.
Do you want?
It's better than I thought, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, much better.
It's not bad.
No,
Yes. You probably wouldn't eat the whole package.
no, maybe not even that one, but one bite is good enough.
One bite.
Should we get into the shirts a little bit and some of the
Yeah, we need to know. Hey, what's the story behind the shirt? What is it?
the Dumb and Dumber with?
Yeah.
I mean, Bogu, he's sitting next to me in the locker room, and we always try to chirp each other a little bit. He has a really good, taste of humor and stuff.
Yeah.
So we like to go a little bit after each other. And
He's good at chirping as well.
he's really good, yeah. And he always talked with me about that scene, in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, okay.
If I know it and if I've seen it, and I said, yeah, I've seen it before, and he always told me, like, the first couple of times, always about that scene. That's so funny. And then I think he made it the shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, should we want to embrace this a little bit? So, I really tried to get smart on Austria coming here. Do you know how many countries border Austria?
I know, yeah. So Germany, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, Italy, Slovakia, Czech, Hungary. 7.
8. I don't know what the 8th one is. Luxembourg, maybe?
That's not Liechtenstein.
There's supposed to be 8. That's what it says. It's 8. No offense.
Italy?
No offense.
Germany,
It's 8. I'm telling
Czech,
you. This is what the internet says.
Slovakia, Hungary, Slovenia,
Our producer will look.
Italy, Switzerland. Did I say Liechtenstein? Then it's
Yeah.
8, yeah.
No, you didn't say Liechtenstein. That's 8.
Yeah, that's 8.
8. Good job. We'll give you half. Okay, so here 2 truths and a lie. So one of these is not true.
Okay.
Austria has had 25 Nobel Prize winners. Austria has the tallest waterfall in the world. Austria has the oldest flag in the world. Which one of those is not true?
I know the third one is true. That's the oldest flag. I don't think the... What's the first one?
Nobel Peace Prize.
25 Nobel Peace Prize winners. Nobel laureates.
Trust your gut. Trust your gut.
The second one is the highest waterfall.
Yes.
I say 2 then. It's not true.
You actually have the second oldest flag. So you were, but hey, these are the... this is-
Austria has 25 Nobel Peace Prize winners?
Yes. They're good at peace. Don't get
Second
too
oldest
high.
flag.
Don't get
Okay.
too low, right?
Yeah.
But and the only other thing So
John likes John's might be one of those teachers that puts like the trick question in the test.
these
Like, you
might
actually
be wrong.
have the second
No, I
oldest
think
flag.
That's right.
I think Denmark has the oldest flag, is what someone told me. But then this was the only other Austrian thing we wanted to do because it's very unique to be an Austrian NHL player. We had Thomas Vanek. There's been some others, but I think you need to become the Rossinator. You are a badass. I don't think people, even in the state of Minnesota, understand. You are a vital part of this hockey team. You are consistent. You're a stud, confident. So I think you become the Rossinator.
You
just
think
like
okay? So
Schwarzenegger.
hold on. Where does your head go with Rossinator?
I think-
mine goes to like Friends, like the TV show Friends.
No,
like you're
he's
like-
not Ross.
That's what I mean. So it
Friends.
has
No,
to.
he's
We got to
like
work
Rossinator.
on Rossinator.
Yeah, it's not bad, but lately sometimes I hear people they pronounce my name so wrong.
How do we say it?
Probably
No,
how we're
like,
doing it.
I would rather have Rossi than like a couple of times people tell me like Rossi. I don't like that at all. To be honest, like,
So it's Rossi.
say Ross, like we say back home,
Rossi.
Rossi, like with a rolling R, Rossi.
Rossi?
But when I said it one time, they started saying Rosie. I said,
Yeah.
it's not Rosie, just say Rossi. It's
Yeah.
cool, you know.
But the Rossinator. So these are the
You've been
top.
hanging out with Boldy. Has he been hanging out with Boldy too much? Everybody hates these broadcasters these days.
Well, that posted pretty well. It tapped into something.
They're not alone.
This is our last Austrian thing. So as you embrace the badass that you are, these are the top 32 lines that Arnold Schwarzenegger has said in movies. So when you're with Bogo, if you left your locker stall, you could just say, "I'll be back," and just subtly. Like, what about get to the chopper? Is that a good one?
Can you say that?
Get to the chopper. That's
Do
like
you
a
watch
helicopter.
Schwarzenegger movies?
Not really.
Me either.
So, yeah.
So, but try that. Just say that once. I want to hear how it sounds. Can you say "get to the chopper"?
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
That was good.
Yeah, see, that's good. And then we have maybe one more. We say, "It's not a tumor." That's a good one from Kindergarten Cop. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Yeah. See, this could be good for you.
No, he's good.
He could be Marco the Barbarian too.
Barbarian.
That
Yeah.
could be a different way to do
I
it.
like that.
But
But hold on, real quick. Let's rate his Austrian accent. What did you think of him trying to be
yeah, does
the
this
governor?
does this sound like I let him go? See you at the party, Richter. You should clone yourself so you can go. I eat green berets for breakfast, and right now I'm very hungry. Does that sound Austrian?
That was better.
It's good. It's very good.
You're getting good.
I'm trying. I listened to Mozart yesterday for like 10 minutes getting ready for this. Looked at your Instagram. We're prepared. But no, in all seriousness, just watching you grow as a player and in a season with a lot of unpredictability, it's really nice to have something predictable. You know, this is a guy who's going to go out there, work his ass off, and get the job done. So kudos to you on that.
I think it's also fair to say that if you haven't started off the year the way that you have, the Wild wouldn't be in the situation that they're in, given all the injuries and everything else. Like, I think we'd be feeling like the Vikings fans right now. But with that, a couple questions on hockey for you. Who's the toughest matchup for you? Like, who do you think's the toughest guy you've played against, or hardest guy to play against?
Good question.
Like, are the big D hard to play against? Is it like McDavid because the guy's like fast as
I mean,
lightning?
yeah.
Like you're like, I don't want to be.
Yeah, I mean, when he's out there and you're playing D zone, it's not fun. Just try to chase him, it's not fun. But like on D side, like when we're in O zone, I don't know. Maybe a guy who's tall. To be honest, I've never like think too much about it. So I don't know.
Well, maybe have you played against Chara? Did you ever play against
No,
Chara?
no.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Because when you play against Chara, then you know.
I was going to ask you about chemistry, because it seems like you have a lot of chemistry with Bolds. You have a little history back in the day, Iowa and everything else. Obviously, you've spent a lot of time with Kirill and Zuki, which is a whole different type of family to be a part of. But do you have certain players on the Wild where you feel like you finish each other's sentences, or you you really know what they're going to do next? Who are some guys you feel, maybe it's defensemen even, who are some people you feel you have a lot of chemistry with on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, with Kirill and Suki, you know, we played together last year a lot of times, and even this year almost the whole time. And I think the chemistry has been really good. And now with Suki and Boldy too, that's been a really good chemistry together, because I just knew both from Iowa and like all the training camp before and the rookie camps and stuff. And I think Fabes, you know, Fabes is so smart in the O zone. I mean, you know, he's so strong, fast, and he just knows where the puck will be. And even like when we go on Alman Rush, he always tries to jump on with the play. And so it's nice to play with him.
So he's your rideshare buddy too, right? Like we got to get you out of here. You forgot your suitcase. You got a flight to catch, and he's waiting on you right now.
He's waiting on me. Yeah, he's the driver for me.
All the time. Do you have a license in a vehicle, or is he just today the driver?
No, just today.
Okay.
No, I mean most of the road trips he's driving. Yeah,
Yeah. Just he.
So Faber's your driver?
most of the time. Yeah.
We should give him he'd eat a strudel too. We'll cook this up.
Yeah, cook those strudels up for him. Yeah. So tell us about Faber. Like, what makes him good? I know you talked about he's smart, he's this, he's that, but there's an excitement around the young players within the organization. You're included in that, but to you, what makes Faber good?
I mean, he's like so powerful, you know. Like I don't know if anyone really can beat him 1-on-1, you know, in a straight race, because he's first of all like such a good skater. He can use his body really good, and he almost wins every battle, you know. And I see a lot of guys try to go on a 1-on-1 battle with him, and he always gets the puck and walks out of it. You know, doesn't matter if it's a superstar player or whatever. He always wins the puck, and I think that's really impressive to see.
He's stronger than people know.
Yeah.
Right? He's thicker and stronger than people know. So when he gets in the corner, yeah, he's coming out. I
Like,
think he's
sometimes you're like-
underestimated how he's an ox.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
big he's a strong kid.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like veteran players be like, okay, yes, rookie D. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to target that D.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
good
then,
luck.
And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, he's bigger than a 20-year-old guy, or
Yeah.
he's stronger, tougher.
He needs to get out of here, but I just have one last question on my side. So if Zuki's on the whiteboard, you're on maybe the iPad with Bolds, what does Kirill do on the bench? Is he a whiteboard or an iPad guy, or is he just like just chilling?
He's mostly just chilling, but obviously when I have my iPad out there, he's looking. When Suki has a whiteboard, he's going to look over what he's drawing after. So he's right in between, yeah.
He just kind of goes with the flow.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a lot of instruction, it
No.
seems.
Hey, so this is new to me. There's Coca-Cola on the bench. Are you a Coca-Cola bench drinker?
Sometimes, maybe in the third period, you know, when I
When you
some
need a
sugar.
boost.
Yeah, when I need a boost, but not like in the first or second period.
And it's right in the water bottle.
Mhm.
And it's labeled like Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
But who is it that's squirting it on the ice? You ever notice that now?
No?
Yeah, fans, pay attention. Like as the period starts,
There's like brown water on the ice.
yeah, right in front of the wild bench. I
Really?
think it's the D. I think it's
Oh,
the
it's
D
Middleton
side.
for sure. He's involved. Maybe Bogo.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, good luck in Nashville and Colorado. You'll be heading out there when people listen to this, and we don't want to get Faber on two wheels driving you to the airport. So thank you for joining us, and stay Mr. Consistency. The Rossinator, Marco the Barbarian. I mean, you should have all the confidence in the world because you're playing with it. So it's awesome to watch you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, bud.